Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back to my channel, my Loverlies. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for clicking on my video. I am so happy you found me. I do so hope that you will like and subscribe before you leave. Become part of the Mama family. Mama's got your back, at least where makeup's concerned, and definitely when that makeup is cheap. Today is all about bronzers for fair to light skin tones. Bronzers can be such a difficult kind of category to really sort through. There's so many of them available, and the undertones range from yellow to red to orange to gray. Like, it's super weird, right? And with so many options, it can be really, really confusing. So I have picked an assortment of some of my very, very favorites with different undertones, but that all look really beautiful on fair to light skin tones. We've got some high-end options. We've got some drugstore options. We've also got some Dollar Tree options. So if you guys are interested, I do so hope that you will hang around for just a minute. Before we get started, a very special, very warm welcome to any of those that are new to my channel. I am so incredibly happy that you are here. If you enjoy the content, I do so hope that you will mash that thumbs up button. I hope that you will subscribe if you have not already. And I hope that you will ring my bell, turn on your notifications, so that way, next time I upload a video, you can come right back here and we can hang out together again. Also, my makeup is already done. Again, I'm feeling myself today. It looks beautiful. Spring is here. Summer is on its way. It is time to start busting out the glowy, bronzy, gorgeous kind of makeup looks, which again is an inspiration for today's video. But I did make sure to film a TikTok on today's eye look if you're interested. It is so super cute. I used a really affordable palette to do it. I used the Morphe Avani Greg for the Bibs palette. It is unfortunately discontinued, but the color story is pretty common, so I'm sure you can find the colors to do this in your collection already. Guys, if you are not following me on all my other socials, you definitely should go do that. I post fun content literally every single day, and if you're following me everywhere, you don't have to worry about missing a single moment of it. Also, I'll have the links for all of my socials listed in the description box below, along with all the products that we're going to talk about in today's video. Of course, if you have any questions about what I used or what I'm talking about, all you have to do is leave me a comment and I will get back to you. Okay, with all of that out of the way, let's dive in to the bronzers. Let's start off with some of the more high-end options first, because there's not a ton of them. First thing I want to talk about is this bad boy right here. So this is the Cover FX Monochromatic Bronzing Duo. This is in the deeper shade option. This is in the shade Suntan Bronze. Now, unfortunately, it is sold out on their website at the moment. But if I had a choice, like, I would choose the lighter option just because, again, it's better for fair to light skin tones. But the reason that I wanted to mention this is because it's just gorgeous. I love the undertone to this bronzer. So it is very, very red. I don't know if you guys can see like the redness through the camera, but it is stunning. It looks so gorgeous on my skin tone, and it does look really deep in the pan, but once you get it on the skin, it does sheer out in such a really gorgeous way. See, look at that tone. It is not orange in any way, shape, or form. It has that really gorgeous, kind of like more red undertone to it. It's just so beautiful. And though it looks super deep in the pan, you can see it's not that deep on the swatch, and it's just buttery smooth and soft. I really love the packaging as well. But I also think that the addition of this shimmer is so stinking pretty. This shimmer is absolutely freaking stunning. Even on its own, if you had a deep skin tone, this would be the most beautiful freaking highlighter. But when you take a little bit of that shimmer and mix it in with the bronzer, it just gives the bronze such a beautiful kind of like luminosity to it. It adds a little bit of richness to the bronzer as well. It's stunning. Now, this thing is kind of stupidly expensive. I think this goes for around $42. Yeah, so this is $42 at the Cover FX homepage. However, I was able to find this on Amazon for $29. So 30 bucks is still really expensive for a bronzer. But if you're wanting to treat yourself to something that is just in my opinion, so totally worth it. I do love this thing so very much. I think the packaging is adorable as well. I actually picked this up at Beal's Outlet, which is kind of like Burke's, TJ Maxx, Marshall's, the discount store. And this is, I think I paid like 10 bucks for it. It is worth that all day, every day. So while I don't necessarily recommend that you go pick this up for full price, definitely keep an eye out for it at the discount stores, because this brand just in general does pop up there pretty often. And everything I've tried from this brand, from the custom cover drops to just, they're all so high quality. They're so gorgeous. They make liquid eyeshadows that are freaking stunning. This brand, if I lived in a little bit of a higher tax bracket, would be one of those ones that I talked about continuously, because their stuff is just so beautiful and the quality is just chef's kiss, top notch. Next up, we have a cream bronzer, and this one I was a little bit on the fence about. The first shade that I tried from this range, I just was not a fan of at all. It was super yellow and really just kind of looked very jaundiced on my skin. I was not happy with it at all whatsoever. I believe the first shade that I tried was the shade Sunkissed, and it was awful. I actually have it right here. So this is the shade Sunkissed, and this is the one that I just was not a fan of. It looks so pretty in the pan, but then once you kind of swatch it and play with it, it doesn't look bad. But once you kind of blend it out on the skin, it looks very yellow, and it's just not my favorite. Yeah, see how yellow that is? It's just not my favorite. But I went back because I do love the formula so much. It's so creamy. You get a great amount of product in there. I really enjoyed it. I figured I would give it another chance, so I went out and picked up the next deepest shade in the range. That is the shade Golden Tan. So this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Bronzer. This is a fairly expensive product. However, like I said, I was so in love with the formula of this. I just had to try. And when I tell you, this is the bronzer, the cream bronzer that I'm wearing today, and it is freaking stunning. It is so beautiful. So that's what the deeper tone looks like. And while it is still very warm, this one has a little bit of a neutrality to it. Can you guys see how much better that tone is? It's got a little bit more of that kind of red undertone to it, and it just looks so much better on my skin tone. I like this. I like this so very much. It, again, is a little bit overpriced. Well, a lot of it overpriced. It's kind of stupidly expensive. I think this goes for around $35. So $35 for a cream bronzer is just a lot, especially when there are those at the drugstore that are just as good and much more affordable. But again, I just really like the packaging of this. I enjoy a higher end moment sometimes. So I just had to talk about this because I do enjoy it so very much. Now, again, I did pick this up at a discounted price. And while I think that it is fantastic for a discounted price, I do think it's good for full price as well. Like if you've got the money, if you've got the $35 to go pick it up at full price, I don't think that you would regret this purchase at all. I think that if you were just trying to do something a little bit special for yourself, or if you just wanted to have a little bit of a bougie moment, I do think you would thoroughly enjoy this cream bronzer. If you're anywhere near my skin tone, I definitely think the second deepest shade, again, that's the shade Golden Tan, I think this is the winner. Because again, that first tone was just way too yellow for me. But this one has more of that kind of like red, almost neutral kind of undertone to it. So it goes on, it adds a little bit of warmth, but it also adds depth and shape to the face as well, which is what I really look for in a good bronzer. And this cream formula is so creamy and so effortless to blend out. The packaging is absolutely stunning. Get a good amount of product in here as well. This bronzer is going to last me absolute eons. I don't know that I'll ever actually go through the entire thing. It is so good. So if you're looking for a good higher end cream bronzer, this is the best one that I've tried. Next up, we have a Too Faced product. And Too Faced is one of those brands that I never talk about. Their stuff just doesn't excite me. It doesn't get my motor running. I just think that it's a lot of very repetitive, very neutral stuff, while their packaging is stunning. I just feel like it's just not my thing. However, when I came across this bronzer, I actually found this again at Beal's Outlet. So I got it for like, I don't know, I think I got this for like $1.99, right? It was like just laying there all sad and forgotten on the back of the shelf. And I was like, ooh. So I opened it up and I really liked the color. So I brought it home with me, and this is so beautiful. So this is the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer. This is stunning. First of all, I love the packaging. This is just the travel size of it, and the travel size on the Too Faced website goes for $17, which is stupidly expensive. The full size goes for $36, which, wow. But when I tell you, this is the most gorgeous, neutral / kind of cool toned bronzer. It is delightful. On top of that, this smells like freaking chocolate. I love it so very much. And this shade in particular, this is the Chocolate Soleil. And it says it's for medium to deep skin tones, but I find that it looks so beautiful on my light skin tone. Look at that. It's got this really gorgeous neutral / cool leaning undertone to it. It's beautifully sheer and very easy to build up as well. It blends out just effortlessly on the skin. I never worry about it patching or looking streaky. It's just so beautiful. And then that added sensory, like just like smelling like chocolate, is such a beautiful thing to me. I love just scented bronzers in general. I love when bronzers smell like coconut or smell like the ocean or the beach. You know, the Physicians Formula bronzers, the butter bronzers, they always smell freaking delightful. This smells just like chocolate. It is so good. And again, for a higher end bronzer, a lot of times I can take him or leave him, but this tone just in general is so beautiful. And again, I really like it because it's so buildable. It is just super easy to dunk your brush in there and just kind of like go to town on your face. You don't have to worry about knocking excess product off. You don't have to worry about it going too far too quickly. Just a very easy bronzer to use, and I love the tone. Again, the packaging is absolutely freaking adorable as well. I think Too Faced is pretty well known for their packaging in general. It's always pretty nice, but that one, the Chocolate Soleil Bronzer, one of my very favorite high-end bronzers. Next up, we have the iconic London Ultimate Bronzer. This thing right here, this packaging is so beautiful. It's big, it's heavy, it is super mirrored and reflective. It shows fingerprints so easily. But when I tell you this is probably one of my most favorite bronzers of all time, it is delightful. So this is the Ultimate Bronzing Powder. I have mine in the shade Warm Bronze, and oh my good golly, it is so beautiful. So it comes with this really gorgeous golden compact. You get a really big, nice mirror in here, and then this is your product. And you can tell just from it sitting in the pan how beautiful that undertone is. It is, it's just nice. But oh my good gravy. Look at that tone. And I think this is the third deepest shade in this range, but they have a really gorgeous, pretty expansive shade range. I think there's 5 shades in all. This is the third deepest, and just look at that color. It's warm, but it's not orange. It leans, I would say, just a little bit red more than anything else. It definitely is warm. It is a bronzer and not a contour, but it just, look how beautifully it blends out. It gives you that really gorgeous warmth to the skin, but again, it's not orange. And I think I like this one so much because it's not even really red either. It is super neutral, but it's neutral without being a contour. So if you are not into that gray tone at all, this is going to be the higher end bronzer for you, because it is straight up warm. It straight up gives warmth and life to the face without really contouring. It doesn't really give a whole lot of shape. It just looks like you've been kissed by the sun. And another one of the reasons that I like it is because you get such a big pan of it. Like, the value is definitely here on this product. If you enjoy makeup that makes you feel just a little bit special, if you enjoy being just a tiny bit bougie every now and then, I do think that this is the bronzer for you. Again, that tone is just, it's just incredible. It is so soft and buttery. It is completely matte as well. There is no sparkle or shine or shimmer or luminosity to this bronzer at all. Same goes for the Too Faced. They are completely matte. So if you worry about texture, if you worry about any kind of like skin problems, this is going to go on. It's going to blur. It's going to mattify. It's going to smooth everything out. It's gorgeous. And for being such a pigmented powder, it just blends out effortlessly. Like, this is another one of those bronzers that you can really just go to town on and not really worry about going overboard. It's just effortless to use, and it's delightful. If you're going to talk about value, I do think that the Iconic London is definitely a better value than the Too Faced, but I like the Too Faced because it has that cooler undertone to it. So it does that bronzer kind of thing where it gives warmth and shape to the face at the same time. Plus it smells like chocolate. This one, unfortunately, is unscented, but it is just as delightful. The very last high-end bronzer that I want to talk to you guys about today is from LYS. And I know that you guys have probably heard me talk about this bronzer before, but I'm just going to quickly mention it again. This is the LYS No Limits Matte Bronzer. This is delightful. You want to talk about just, again, this is a super, super matte bronzer. There is no shimmer or shine to this bronzer at all. I have mine in the shade Harmony, and this is very, very similar to the Iconic London. I do think that they are almost identical. So if you prefer the triangular package to the Iconic London circular gold kind of gaudy packaging, this is going to be the one for you. They're almost identical in both tone and formula. They're just so good. This one, it just kind of went viral on TikTok. I want to say not too long ago, and for a very, very good reason. Like, it just blends out so effortlessly. You can see the tones are very, very similar. I would say that the LYS one leans a little bit more on the red end of the spectrum. It's definitely not orange in any way, but it does lean just a little bit more red. I would say there's a little bit more of a rosy undertone to the LYS. And again, I love it because that's the shade that I turn naturally. Like, if I ever get sun naturally, I turn red. I get sunburnt and I'm a little bit rosy, but I also get a little bit of that like golden tan, golden browning, delicious kind of thing. So this one, it just looks so natural on my skin. I love it. It's a little bit red, but I would say it's definitely not orange. It's just beautiful. Again, this is going to be straight up warmth. I don't think it really contours. I don't think it adds shape or depth to the face at all, but it does bring life and warmth and just like, oh, sun-kissed goodness. This is also very, very affordable. So the LYS cream bronzer, even though it's available at Sephora, it is only $19, and you're still getting a pretty fair amount of product in here. It is super cute. I actually really enjoy the packaging on this as well. Mine is super gross and a little bit dirty at the moment, but it is rose gold packaging. It is mirrored and super, super beautiful. Next up, that brings us to our drugstore options. Let's talk about L'Oreal first, because for a drugstore option, they are super pricey. First up and most expensive is the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Bronzer. Guys, these absolutely exploded onto the drugstore scene, and it was like a revelation. Everybody absolutely adored these things. I do too. They are and were viral for a reason. They're so, so good. So I have the shade 300 Light Medium. This is perfect. It is a perfect bronzer shade for me. When it comes to L'Oreal, they just do tones correctly. I actually have quite a few L'Oreal bronzers to talk about, some of which are discontinued, which is very, very sad. But L'Oreal just does tones really, really well. They know exactly what they're doing, and I really don't have a bad thing to say about any of them. So again, this is the shade 300 Light Medium. That tone, absolute perfection. It's very, very neutral. It is not red. It is not yellow. It is not orange. It is right smack dab in the center. It is stunning. This is going to go on. It's going to bring life and warmth to the face. The actual formula of this bronzer is so buttery smooth. It is so smooth and so soft and genuinely freaking delicious. I love it so, so much. This is one of those bronzers that you can absolutely go ham with. It is not, you're not going to overdo it. Though it is beautifully pigmented, it's also very, very buildable as well. So you can really sheer it out, get a nice like sheer layer of pigmentation, but then you can kind of build it up and really build that pigment. Ooh, it is so gorgeous. I don't know if you guys can see, but there is a nice big dip right there in the center of this pan because I use this continuously. Also comes with a nice little mirror, and there was also a sponge in here as well. Guys, the compact is super cute, but when I tell you the price of this, you're going to be like, what? Because this is a $16 bronzer. It's a $16 bronzer. Now, you are getting a fair amount of product in here. You're getting 9 grams, so pretty fair amount of product. Again, it's pigmented. It's going to last you for absolutely forever. But this is a fantastic, fantastic option. On top of that, this comes in so many different colors. Like, not colors, but so many different shades. The shade range on this bronzer is extensive. So if you have a hard time finding a good bronzer and a tone that you like, this line is going to have what you need. They have shades that go super, super light and then incredibly deep. It's fantastic. Moving along to other L'Oreal bronzers, this one right here is probably one of my very favorite bronzers of all time. So the difference between these two is this one is straight up velvet matte. This one is going to go on, it's going to blur, it's going to add a little bit of coverage, but it is going to be matte. But this one is going to add a little bit of life, a little bit of luminosity to the skin. It's not sparkly or glittery in any way, but there is the slightest bit of illumination here that just looks so gorgeously natural on the skin. As you guys can tell, it is most assuredly one of my very favorite bronzers of all time. I use this thing continuously. There is so much product in this bronzer though. So this bronzer goes for $15.99, $14.99. So $15. It is fantastic. The value is definitely here with this bronzer. So where you're getting 9 grams of product with the Infallible bronzer, you are getting almost a little over 11.5 grams of product in this bronzer. And this one is more affordable than the other one. So definitely, if you are into value, this is going to be the one to shoot for. It's got the same kind of formula. It's still super soft and buttery smooth, but I don't know if you guys can see that little bit of sheen and shine that is in this bronzer. And this tone is really stunning as well because it is so fair. This is the shade 01. It's the lightest shade in the range. But can you see how gorgeous that undertone is? It is so fantastic. It's almost it's still very, very neutral, but there's almost the slightest bit of like a cooler undertone here. So when you build it up, it gives you both a little bit of warmth and life to the skin, but also it has the potential to shape just a little bit. I really like to take just a big fluffy brush, just kind of swirl it in the pan and go to town. I will say though that you do get quite a bit of pickup with this bronzer. Like, it's a very, very softly pressed powder. So when you're swirling your brush in there, you're picking up quite a bit more powder probably than you realize. So smacking off your brush is probably a good idea where this bronzer is concerned. But again, I've had this bronzer for almost 2 years at this point, and I've hit pan, but I still have so much product in there. This will probably last me for another 2 years. I love the value of this product. I love the packaging. I love the way that it looks on the skin. It's just a fantastic product. I just think that you can't go wrong with this one, especially if you're looking for a bronzer that has just a little bit of luminosity to it. It is the very first, well, other than the Cover FX, it's the first bronzer I've spoken about that's got that little bit of luminosity to it, and it's so, so good. I do quickly want to talk about this one right here. This is the bronzer that was discontinued, and it's so, so sad. I think they discontinued this bronzer when they came out with the Infallible one because they are fairly similar. However, the packaging on this was so beautiful. I loved this stuff so, so much. I actually have this bronzer in a couple of different shades just because I thought it was so beautiful. I ended up getting mine just a little bit hard panned, so I had to scratch the top of it off just a little bit, but it had the most beautiful pan embossing on it. It had this really gorgeous, I don't know if you guys can still see it a little bit, but it had these really gorgeous kind of like leaf print on it. So, so beautiful. Here is a swatch of the Bronze Please, and you can definitely tell it is much warmer than the Lumi bronzer. Yeah, a lot warmer. But even then, it leans more on the red side than the orange side. Still a beautiful product. They did discontinue this one, and again, I'm super sad about it. However, if I were to have to pick between these two bronzers, I do think the Infallible is better. I like this packaging more, but the product in this one is so much better. Moving on to a bronzer that I literally never hear anybody talk about, and it is probably one of my very favorite powder bronzers ever created. It's almost like neck and neck with my L'Oreal Lumi bronzer. This one I might like just a little bit more. So this is the Flower Beauty Heatwave bronzer. This is a really gorgeous marbled bronzer. The color of this is perfection. It is very much a cool toned bronzer. It is still a bronzer because there is quite a bit of warmth here. However, it is a cooler warmth. It's so beautiful. So this is the shade Sunrise. It comes in 2 different color options. They have Sunrise and then Sun Swept, something like that. They have a slightly deeper version of this. And y'all, when I tell you, this bronzer is quite possibly one of the most perfect bronzers ever created. That tone, it's magical. There is almost a rosiness, almost like a slight mauviness to this undertone, to the undertone of this bronzer, that when you put it on the skin, it's not even mauvey. It's just, there's a slight pinkiness to it, right? That just goes onto the skin. And especially if you're cool toned and fair or light skinned like I am, this just goes on and looks so natural. The slight luminosity in this product adds such a natural finish to the overall product that it just goes onto the skin and does something truly magical. The luminosity plus that really slight kind of mauvey pinky undertone make this one of the most unique bronzer colors ever. It is so incredibly beautiful. I know that this was in my best of, I think it was in my best of last year and the year before. I have loved this bronzer for the very longest time, and I just can't get over it. I love the packaging as well. I think it's super pretty, really easy to open. It's just fantastic. It's also really affordable. It's $12.50, so I don't think that's too expensive. Definitely more affordable than the L'Oreal bronzers. You're getting a good amount of product in here. You're getting 6 grams, which, I mean, it's a couple of grams less than you get in the L'Oreal, but again, it's a couple of dollars cheaper as well. So there's that. But y'all, when I tell you, this is the most beautiful bronzer for cooler skin tones. Like, if you have a cooler undertone, this is a bronzer that you 100% need to check out, especially if you enjoy something that's got just a little bit of a glow to it. And I wouldn't even say that it's a glow, because there's no sparkle, there's no shine. There is just the smallest amount of a very subtle luminosity, and it just goes onto the skin, and it does something, like I said, truly magical. It's fantastic. Next up, we have the Milani Silky Matte Bronzer. Everybody and their mama knows about this bronzer, so I'm not going to spend too awful long on it, but it deserves to be mentioned because it is that fantastic. This is a true cool toned bronzer. Like, it is chef's kiss, so beautiful, and it is exactly what it says it is. Silky and matte and just incredibly gorgeous. I don't know what it is about this formula, but it just goes on and it does something so beautiful to the skin. It goes on and it's so, I want to say it's almost blurring in a way because it's so matte. It almost provides a little bit of a soft focus kind of effect to the skin. And you can definitely see there's warmth there, but it's a cooler toned warmth. It's definitely more on the neutral side of things. Now, I have mine in the shade 03, but shades 01 and 02, in my opinion, are even more cool toned than this one. I like this one because I just enjoy a little bit of a deeper tone when it comes to bronzers. But it's stunning. It's so pretty. It is very much in the same vein as the Flower Beauty and as the L'Oreal Lumi one. It's just got that really gorgeous, beautiful kind of tone to it. This one is fairly affordable as well. This one, it goes for $11.99. So a little bit cheaper than the Flower one. You're getting 9.5 grams of product in this one. So it's an even better value than the L'Oreal one. You're getting about 0.5 gram more product in here. So if that matters to you, this one is a winner. Packaging isn't bad at all. The packaging is very similar to the Flower Beauty one. It's just a good one. This one, again, is wildly accessible. It's available at Walmart. It's available just about everywhere. Wherever they sell Milani, they will have this bronzer. It's been around for absolutely forever. It will continue to be around for the rest of time. It's just a good OG light skin tone friendly bronzer. Really fantastic choice. This one you guys have heard me talk about 1,000,001 times at this point, but I like it so much it bears repeating. This is the Beauty Bakerie Snackaroons bronzer. I have mine in the shade House Blend. It is the lightest shade in the range, and this is a terrible value. You're getting a very small amount of product here, and it's kind of expensive. It's $11 for this teeny tiny little bronzer. However, it's so pretty. It's beautifully pigmented. So there's the tone. And again, you can see it's just super neutral. It is very light skin friendly. It's pigmented, but not overly so. It's super smooth and buttery feeling, like it's very, very finely milled. So it goes on, does exactly what you want a good bronzer to do. It doesn't overpower your face. It's not too much too quickly. It's just a really, really good bronzer. If you like super cute, adorable, teeny tiny packaging, I think this is fantastic. I also think that for like summer vacations, this is the bronzer to take because it is so tiny. It's going to be perfect. Just slip down in your makeup bag. It's not going to take up too much space in your travel makeup kit or whatever. It's so delightful. And I don't know, I just don't know what it is about this bronzer that has me going just absolutely gaga, but just that tone is so delightful. I can't get over it. We are coming up on the last two bronzers in today's video. These are the most affordable options in today's video. Y'all, Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild, nobody talks about the Color Icon bronzers, and I don't know why, because they're delightful. So these go for $5, so incredibly affordable, and you get a good amount of product in here. You're getting 11 grams of product. So there is almost as much product in here as there is in here, and this is $5. So literally less than half the price of this one. It's insane. This is beautiful. It is a gloriously luminous bronzer as well. So there is what it looks like. I think that the little leaf impression in the pan is super cute and a really nice touch. I have this one in Palm Beach Ready. Yeah, Palm Beach Ready, and it's stunning. It is such a gorgeous, very lightly luminous blush. It is such a gorgeous, very lightly luminous bronzer. The tone is beautiful. Can you guys see that slight sheen in the product? Like, it's not overly metallic. It's not too much. The tone is so perfect. It is almost identical to the L'Oreal Lumi bronzer, but this one is like literally less than half the price. The formulas are almost identical. I will say that the L'Oreal is definitely fine. I will say that the L'Oreal is definitely milled a lot more fine than the Wet n Wild one is. The L'Oreal definitely has more of that buttery, smooth kind of consistency, whereas this one feels just a little bit more chunky. However, that does not equate to chunkiness on the skin. It still applies to the skin super beautifully, very, very smooth. It blends out effortlessly as well. Yeah, and I just love the sheen that it gets. It's kind of, to me, a mix between the L'Oreal and then also the Cover FX. Because it has that slight sheen to it, it's definitely not just like a lit from within slight like luminosity. This one definitely has a little bit more of a sheen to it. It's got more of that metallic kind of sheen to it, but not so much that it's going to amplify any texture or skin problems that you may have. It's just enough to give you just a little bit of like a real glow on the cheeks. It's stunning. It's gorgeous. It's $5. It comes in 4 or 5 different shades. Now, I will say that the shade range isn't impressive at all. It goes fairly light, but it doesn't go super deep at all. I think this is the second to deepest shade in the range, and it works for my skin tone. So there's that. But if you can find a shade that works for you in this line, I don't think that you would be disappointed by it at all. And then, last but not least, we have something from LA Colors. Y'all, LA Colors is such an unsung hero when it comes to affordable makeup. Their quality is fan-freaking-tabulous. And I got this for $1.25. Now, granted, the packaging is horrendous. It's not great at all, but it's not the worst either. It's incredibly slim, super easy to like take on the go. Like, this is going to be a perfect travel bronzer. It's literally the size of a freaking credit card. You will not believe how much product is in here though. As slim as this packaging is and as teeny tiny as this freaking thing looks, you're getting 8 grams of product in here. 8 grams. So that is 1 gram less than this big old chunky L'Oreal Infallible bronzer. That was mind-blowing to me when I figured that out. 8 grams of product is insane. It just goes to show you that size of packaging doesn't mean anything, especially where cosmetics are concerned. These people will try to get you any way that they can. You think the bigger the packaging, the more product that must be inside. Baby, that is just not the case. Anyway, this bronzer right here it literally blew my mind the first time that I tried it. So this is just the LA Colors Matte Bronzer. This one is in the shade Bronzed Beauty, and you can just tell by looking at the bronzer itself how stunning it is. Like this undertone, and oh my good gravy when I tell you that this feels like absolute silk. It is so finely milled. It is, oh my gosh, it is so smooth and buttery and gorgeous. And look at that tone. It is delightful, beautifully neutral. A lot of people, when they think of like more affordable bronzers, they think orange, right? Automatically, your mind goes to Oompa Loompa territory. It can be quite difficult to kind of reconcile that something that costs $1 can be just as good as something that costs $15. However, Mama is here to tell you that this is one of the most beautiful bronzers in my entire collection. So you know how they say you save the best for last? This is the bronzer that I was the most excited to share with you guys today because it's $1.25. I picked this up at the Dollar Tree, and when I tell you this bronzer is immaculate, it is stunning, it is gorgeous, and it is so cheap. It's dirt cheap, and it's just good. It is delightful. I can't get over it. I can't get over how much product you're getting in here, how smooth and soft and finely milled it is. It's just, it's perfection. It's perfection. It goes onto the skin. It provides, it's completely matte. There is no sparkle. There's no shine. There's no luminosity. It goes onto the skin, and again, it just gives you that kind of velvetizing finish. It's almost blurring because it is so finely milled, just kind of provides a little bit of a filter to the cheeks. Guys, it's delightful. It's not patchy, it's not streaky. It goes on and it blends beautifully, just kind of like morphs into the skin. Just, oh, it is so good. And it's $1.25. Like, I cannot stress that point to you enough that this is $1.25. It is genuinely mind-blowing to me. This thing is fantabulous. And this shade in particular, Bronzed Beauty, is my favorite. However, if I ever get a chance to try out some of the other shades, I definitely am going to do that as well because I like this so much. I can only assume that the other shades are going to be just as beautiful. I hope today's video helped you in some small way. I hope that it shed some light on the confusing world of bronzers. I know undertones can be so tricky, and a good bronzer is kind of like, it can seem like it's hard to come by. But I have shown you many options in today's video that all work for cool undertones and light skin. They're all fantastic. There isn't a single bronzer in today's video that I would ever declutter. They're all some of my very, very favorites. And also, it just goes to show you that you don't have to spend a butt ton of money on a bronzer to find a fantastic one. Like, as long as you got $1.25, baby, you can go get a good bronzer. All right, y'all. That is the end of today's video. I love you so very much. As always, everything's going to be listed in the description box. If you did enjoy today's video, don't forget to give it a big old thumbs up before you leave. I love you so very much. As always, no filters, no fancy lighting. It is just me sitting in front of my camera, playing with some beautiful bronzers, hoping you guys are enjoying what I'm doing. And until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and remember, you're important. Bye.